before they commit a crime. You want to concentrate on that also.
I think that that is a phenomenal idea, and I promise you, if elected, okay, that's going to happen. And I'll tell you why. And I say that just to give you a story. Right now, I mean, I represented a young man charged with first-degree murder. Okay, he was like 20 years old, 19 years old at the time he committed the crime, who's going to be spending the next 30 years of his life in prison. And what he was shocked by when I tried to tell him the felony murder rule, he was only in on a burglary and a robbery, which is, I mean, not only, I mean, he should do his time just based on that. I mean, there's no doubt it's a horrendous crime. But one of his co-defendants, who was just convicted, I think, it was just Friday, was the actual trigger man. He didn't have anything to do with the murder. He wasn't even, you know, he was like, whoa. And in fact, even the witnesses said, one of the guys said, what the hell did you do that for? Where they killed somebody during a burglary, during a robbery. All he wanted was to rob a drug dealer. All he wanted was to get some crack, right? And he says, why am I charged with murder, Mr. Matin? Why am I going to end up in jail the rest of my life? I didn't kill anybody. And you know what every middle school child in Charles County needs to know? Is that if you are even with somebody who commits a murder, even if you are in the car and you're just a getaway driver, and that guy goes out and kills somebody, and you didn't even know he was going to do it, you are going to spend the rest of your life in jail. It's a felony murder, and you know what, kids don't know that. Adults don't know that.
I mean, I do work with high school students, and that's one of the things I tell my students every day, especially the ones that are, a couple of them, they don't know that they're college bound, but they are. I tell them, those friends that you have that are not on the right path, stay away from them, because they can ruin your lives.
Well, look, and Virginia,
they need to know that. One decision, it only takes one.
I want to get this to your point, and again, I'm running a positive campaign. I love that office. I'm from that office. I want you to know that, right? I left that office in 2007. I was there 5.5 years, and I love that office. But I will tell you, and I never say anything bad about that office, but I will say this. The mentality that's in that office right now is this, and I've heard people say it, and that is, I don't need to do any public events or any community service. I already represent the community, do enough as a prosecutor. And that is just a mindset that's going to go when I'm state's attorney, okay? And let me tell you why. Being in that basement of the courthouse is not enough. Just being in the courtrooms is not enough. And why do I say that? It's my #1 job. But if you're not out in the community, if you're not talking to people, if you're not, reaching out to kids, it's a huge part of what a state's attorney should be. And one of my things that's in my platform, and I want you to know this, it's in my platform, and I want to expand upon it, is I don't want to just keep locking everybody up. We don't have enough room in our jail. We just don't. I mean, we just can't keep building jails.
It's too expensive.
There are people, hold on, if you're violent criminals, you're going to jail, okay, right? But there are people, we know that, who are non-violent offenders, who we can find other resources and community supervision and drug treatment and mental health resources to prevent these people from committing crime ahead of time, before they commit them. And I want to work as state's attorney to be the leader in that. I want to bring the sheriff in. I want to bring departmental health and hygiene in. I want to bring the health department in. I want to bring DSS in. I want to be the leader on that. Because let me tell you something. And people will attack you and say, oh, you're a liberal, you're what? If you can prevent crime, that's better than prosecuting crime. I mean, it just is. And there's a lot of people, if you look at how many people are in our jails, a lot of these people are just addicted to drugs. They're addicted to oxys, and they're committing crimes. Now, fine. If you steal, you should go to jail. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But if you just put them in jail and you let them out, they're going to find the OxyContins and they're going to do it again. But if you say, you know what, we know who you are, let's give you resources, let's work with you. I know it's tight economically, but look at this. I'm the kind of state's attorney, I'm telling you this, I'm not going to just be down in that dungeon just, looking at my statistics. I'm going to be out there as a community leader, I swear, I promise you that's one thing that we're going to do. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when you do the education, also educate these kids that even with misdemeanors, they're locking themselves out of government jobs in the future.
Well, if you have a felony conviction, you're finished. You're done. That's right. People don't even realize that. I mean, they don't realize that. And you're absolutely right. A criminal conviction, it just limits you in anything you can do. Absolutely. No, I mean, we definitely would do that. I would love to start a real formal program where the state's attorney's office goes into schools, and to really talk to these kids about what it's like getting locked up and being charged and all of that. I think that's important.
You can do that, Hammad, because the Sheriff's Department already has it. The Sheriff's Department already has it.
And that is true. And I would certainly work with the Sheriff's Department. I would certainly do that. Folks, by the way, this is my sister Seema, and she's been helping me out so much getting all this, so I appreciate it so much.
Hammad, what I would like to suggest to you, which I did back a few years ago, is get with the county police, where you can talk to Rex, and ride with some of the police officers.
I've done that, sure.
Okay, because the police sometimes feel like they don't have the state's attorney's office backing them. So, and then also not only the county police, but also go to the state, the police lieutenant, talk to him and ride with the state police, because they also patrol Charles County, and you also represent them.
Well, and I promise you this, if I'm state's attorney, and I'm already very, close to Rex Coffey. I mean, again, I know he's got a contested race, and people vote the way they do, but I am close to him, and I promise you, I would work with him. I don't care who the sheriff is, but obviously I'm going to work very, very closely with the sheriff's office, because look, you can't be a good prosecutor if you don't have a good relationship with your officers. And I can tell you, and Johnny, I mean, not to stray again, this is, I don't mean just be like a pep rally. This is more, these are people, you're already my friends, and whatever. But at the same time, I will tell you that as a prosecutor, state's attorney, we got to do a better job of making sure that the needs of the officers are better met. Because I'm telling you, a lot of them spend too much time waiting around in courtrooms for cases that should have been worked out. A lot of times, there's no doubt about that. And these are little things that you just have to be sensitive to. And if you are, you can fix it. And I've got plans. I already told Haven, I mean, I've just, whatever. Day one, I'm elected state's attorney. We're going to fix that. We're going to keep the officers out of the courtrooms when we don't need them there, when they can be out in the streets, especially with, I'm going to stress working out my cases ahead of time. And all it takes is a little bit of organization and a little bit of, talking to your people. We can get that done. That's easy. That's day one. Won't cost the taxpayers $1. Yes, ma'am.
I think something else that will help us is we need like a cheat sheet of talking points for you, the main issues you want us to keep across. Because as we're going to go out there and try to convince our friends and people, they're going to say why, what did they do, and you have the history of the state's attorney's office. We need some background on that. We need a background where you're going to be, what you're going to be tough on, and then the programs you're going to work in. And that way we have it, and we can just pull it out and look at it.
Chris is already working on our brochures and our literature, and I promise you, when we have your addresses, we're going to get you tons of it more than you want.
All I know is there's so many police in Charles County, and I go to other places, I'm like, why are there so many cops here doing nothing? I don't think
I can tell you why there's so many cops here. They're out there working because they still care.
Is that what they're
Where's
doing?
Georges County? They don't care.
They don't. I mean,
The police here, which I'm one of them, we care. So that's why we're out there busting our butts.
Right. No, like I said, I mean, the bottom line is we're going to work as partners. We're going to do that. We have to. We have to do that. Anything else, guys? Like I said, I've got your emails, your addresses, your numbers. Talk to your friends. Whatever you can do for me, I appreciate it. And like I said, it means a lot that you guys are here. There's so much more food. I've been eating that all week. Nancy.